What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And as we did suspect, the version 2 Jimbe Sugo Fest is finally available in the game right now. Now, obviously you cannot pull on, I've just time traveled to get the information for you guys. So you guys are going to be seeing two videos over the next couple hours, being breaking down the actual Sugo Fest and also talking about each of the characters. So, first of all, what I want to go ahead and do is break down all of these characters, and that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. So, we're going to be talking about each of the brand new characters available in this batch, and this batch is quite interesting, but obviously we're going to be starting off with some of the rare recruits, and then we'll finish off with the brand new legend, which is version 2 Jimbe. So I actually had a quick look at this Sugo Fest prior to, like, had a look through the actual data as to what the actual structure of this Sugo Fest is going to be like, and they made this Sugo Fest much better compared to the Japanese side of the game. Definitely understandably why they wanted to do that. I want to get people to keep pulling on these Sugo Fest that people want to keep skipping for up until version 2 Katakuri. Anyways, I'll be talking about, you know, the specific structure and all of that in the other video. But as I said, in this video, we're going to be talking about each of the brand new characters. So let's go ahead and start things off with Kami. She is the first character we're going to be discussing here. Now, Kami is a free spirit fighter Sai unit. Her captain effect is going to just heal the crew by 5 times her recovery. Nothing really to write home about. It's kind of a very bland captain effect, of course. Her special ability maxes at 11 turns. We'll go ahead and reduce the crew's special bind, paralysis, burn, and increase damage taken duration by 2 turns, and if there are delayed enemies, boost damage dealt to delayed enemies by 1.75 times for a turn. But if there are no delayed enemies, she then delays all enemies for 1 turn. Now, the reason why this is so freaking good is that she has the double special activation potential ability. When you max it out, it gets fully maxed, which means that you can activate it twice in 1 turn, which means you remove 4 turns of special bind, paralysis, burn, and increased damage taken, as well as going ahead and delaying the enemy and giving yourself a 1.75 times conditional boost. So with her potential ability maxed out, she's a self-proccing conditional booster with amazing utility. Her crewmate effect is going to reduce paralysis by 2 turns, and then special bind also by 2 turns. It would have been nice if it was 3 turns, because typically when you do get special bind, it is like at least 3 turns. You might get the off chance where it's only 1 or 2 turns, but for the most part, typically when you get given special bind, it is like a 2 to 3 turn special bind. So I don't really think that this crewmate ability is the best, but it is still nice that there is some sort of reduction to it. But that special ability is just insane when you are able to get the double special launch with this character. But outside of that, she won't be used that often. There'll be very specific fights where you might need a character like this, but when you max out that double special launch, she's going to be an amazing character to have. Moving on now to the next rare recruit in this batch, we have Heartson. So it's really cool to see a brand new rare recruit Heartson looking absolutely beastly. Captain effect is going to boost Slasher and Powerhouse characters attack by 1.75. Boost the chain multiply growth rate by 2 times. So again, not a very useful captain effect in my personal opinion. His special ability though maxes at 12 turns, and it will go ahead and deal 30 times his attack in non-type damage to random enemies 6 times, which obviously, like, that's actually not too bad. That's a lot of damage that he can deal, especially if like there's only 1 target. That can actually deal a pretty significant chunk of damage there. Also sets enemies defense to 0 for 1 turn. Amazing ability. Always really nice to see the complete defense reduction on the enemy. 100% reduction is fantastic. Then he changes crew's block, tandem, G, bomb slots into recovery. That is a very nice orb manipulation right there. Block orbs is obviously really useful. Tandem is whatever. Bomb orbs is good, and G orbs is also very useful as well. Obviously could be used in tandem with Treasure Map Big Mom, which is pretty cool. And if the captain is a powerhouse class, boosts damage to enemies affected by defense down by 1.75 times for 1 turn. Fantastic. Like, this unit is just amazing. He is the best character in this batch. The fact that he does a pretty significant chunk of damage, he has phenomenal orb manipulation, and also is a 1.75 times conditional booster that also procs it as well. Obviously, you have to have your captain be a powerhouse character, but that's pretty easy to fulfill. So, this character is just freaking amazing. He has critical hit, and he also has the slotbind resistance, so that's pretty cool as well. He has the crewmate abilities of boosting Slasher and powerhouse characters attacked by 50, which is pretty average, and character size slot is carried over when you hit a perfect. So, it would have been nice if his sailor ability had where, like, powerhouse characters treat recovery as beneficial. Obviously, isn't really a big issue considering you got Zunisha and other things like that. but it would have been nice if he had that sort of ability to make recovery beneficial for your entire crew. But as I said, not really too big of a deal. This character, hands down, is the best character of the batch, with just an amazing special ability, as we said. Now, the next character, moving from the best probably to the worst character of the batch, which is Sumei. Now, the reason for him being just not good is that his special ability is like so niche. There aren't too many situations where you just need this, but this character is a strength powerhouse fighter character. Captain ability is a 2.75 times attack boost to powerhouse, but sets your recovery to 0. That can be used in situations, but in most cases, you want to be having a little bit of higher multiplier than that. Special ability, as we said, I don't think it's that great, but changes the left column character slots, including block, to character's own type, and then boost chain multiplier by 0.7 for 2 turns. So you look at it, and it's actually like not bad. It's not a terrible special, but it's the fact that you just don't need this type of special ability in a lot of circumstances. You just don't need this type of effect. But you still could have some uses here and there for a character like this. His crewmate effect is going to go ahead and state that he cannot be blown away, which actually has been seeing more and more usage as time has gone on. A lot of people running more slower teams, and when there are, enemies that will blow away your characters, having characters like this, 6+ Magellan, Treasure Map Big Mom, V1 Fujitora, these characters are very good for just basically stalling out that effect where you can be blown away. It's pretty nice, and also makes powerhouse characters in slots have matching slot effects. That's really interesting, the fact that he makes int beneficial when he's a strength character, and there's nothing on his kit that really hints towards anything relating to int at all. Very, very strange. He has the potential ability of dex damage reduction and slot bind self-resistance, which again is actually a pretty nice ability considering this whole batch and how it works. Slot bind self-resistance is very, very good. So the next character we're going to be discussing is Praline. Praline is actually pretty cool. I actually like the way that she works, and her artwork looks really, really cool as well. She is a cerebral powerhouse dex character with a captain effect of boosting strength and dex characters attack by 2.25 and healing by 1.5 times her recovery at the end of each turn. So this is probably like a character you want to be feeding recovery candies to, just because she has a healing effect, and her special ability, maxing at 12 turns, will go ahead and reduce all enemies' defense up and damage reduction and damage threshold duration by 5 turns. That right there is just automatically just an amazing character. Also changes the left column character slots to dex, strength, and psi, starting from the top. So yeah, so it goes dex, strength, and psi, and then if your captain slot is recovery, heals crew by 13 times her recovery at the end of each turn for 3 turns. So this is what this whole batch is kind of like revolved around, is putting certain slots onto certain characters to gain an ability. Now you can see here, as she says, when your captain slot is a recovery orb, then you can go ahead and get some healing effects, which is really weird. We haven't had a batch that's been like this before, where you have to have a certain orb on a character in order to get a certain ability to activate. Very, very weird. I'm personally not a huge fan of it. It is a little bit more tedious when you're running teams, and it means that depending on what the captain does, then it makes team building a little bit more annoying, and you really have to focus on characters that can manipulate orbs very effectively. So I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it is nice that that kind of effect is there. It would have been nice if she just did it off the bat, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. That would have been really, really cool. But she does have the potential ability of the recovery bind resistance, as well as the defense damage reduction, the quick damage reduction, which is pretty nice as well. Her crewmate ability is going to boost strength, dex, and psi characters recovery by 50, which also works for herself, so she's going to be healing a lot more as well, and also makes strength and quick slots beneficial to herself. So she is not going to have a negative orb unless it is a block orb. So she's pretty good. I'm a big fan of the way that Praline is structured. Now, the last character of this rare recruit batch, before we talk about the new legend, is going to be Aladdin. Aladdin, a pretty cool looking artwork. He is a strength powerhouse fighter. His captain effect is a 2.5 times attack boost to powerhouse with a 1.25 times health boost. Pretty stock standard captain effect for a 5-star rare recruit. His special ability, maxing at 12 turns, reduces bind and despair duration by 3 turns, locks your orbs for a turn, changing the right column slots on your characters to recovery, int, and quick, starting from the top. So this will allow you to get your healing effect with your Praline if you use this character first, as it allows you to get that recovery orb on your captain to allow your healing. However, it says here, if your friend captain slot is dex, greatly boost crew's slot effects for 3 turns. So this is kind of the dilemma that you'd have. You'd either use one special first and hope you have the other orb to get the additional effect, or you can go ahead and use, you know, your Praline, and then use your Aladdin, or use your Aladdin and then your Praline. You really have to work out how you want to activate your special abilities. You can either get some healing effects, or you can go ahead and get your actual slot boost as well. So pretty interesting the way that this batch is working. But I'm a big fan of this character just because he has Bind and Despair removal, which is always really useful to have. He's an orb blocker, and he also allows you to get some more orbs depending on you know, the way that your crew is structured. You could potentially get some matching orbs there. But overall, pretty interesting batch, honestly, and they are a little bit different compared to your conventional batch that you would normally see. As I said, they are really reliant on putting orbs in certain positions in order to get certain effects to activate. So as I said before, I'm not a huge fan of it, but when you have this team all up and running, it is actually pretty powerful. Now let's get to the point of this video. It is about discussing this character here, which is V2 Jimbe, and the whole reason why this batch works the way it does. So, version 2 Jimbe is a Dex powerhouse fighter character, and you can see his stats there. Obviously, for a legend character, are pretty good with his max limit break. His captain ability is stating that if strength, Dex, and Psi characters are on your crew, he will boost Strength, Dex, and Psi characters by 4 times when you have a matching slot. Otherwise, it's only a 3 times boost. He also gives you a 1.35 times health boost. A 1.35 is pretty significant. You're like, this guy's going to be extremely tanky. And he makes your crew's Dex and recovery and tandem slots have matching slot effects. Pretty freaking cool captain effect, honestly. I'm a huge fan of the way that his captain ability is built. He is essentially, a lot of people compare him to Lucy because he boosts 3 different colors, 2 of the same color actually, swapping out the Psi and Quick, and the fact that he actually has a slightly higher boost than Lucy. Lucy is a constant like 3.71, whereas this guy is a 3 times boost, but when you have a matching orb, it's 4 times. Now, the fact that it is based on matching orbs means that orb ceiling is obviously going to be an issue for this character. Luckily, like most of this batch that are important do have the slot bind resistance, and also the fact that with his captain effect, he gives you 3 of the 7 natural orbs as beneficial is also really nice to allow you to get more matching orbs for your characters. So that does help out significantly when you're building Jimbe teams. But yeah, as I said, a lot of people compare him to Lucy with the way that he's structured, and that's where the downfall kind of is, because if you have Lucy, there aren't too many situations where you're like, yeah, I really need to use V2 Jimbe. Obviously, for the upcoming events with the Colosseum Tamago and Invasion Sengoku, V2 Jimbe and his batch are going to be really useful for that, because that's exactly what the batch was built for. But outside of that, in most cases, people will often opt to use Lucy in most cases. But he's still a pretty good legend. You cannot deny the fact that his captain ability is very, very good. And it does honestly compete with some of the other top tier characters that we see nowadays. It's just that it's a lot easier to use some of the other characters because of the way that they work. But anyways, I digress. Let's get into the special ability of this character. So we've already discussed his captain ability. Big fan of that. Special maxes at 12 turns, and it will state that it reduces all enemies' HP by 20%, which is already good off the bat, and boosts Strength, Dex, and Psi characters' attack by 1.75 times for 1 turn. As I said, very similar to Lucy, he is his crew's own type booster, which, if you guys have been around on the channel for a while, whenever I see a captain that is their own crew's, type booster, that is freaking awesome. I love characters that do that, allowing you to free up so much more space on your crew. So I'm a big fan of the way that he's built. However, he has an added effect here where it states that if 1 slot of each Strength, Dex, Quick, Psi, Int, and Recovery is present, meaning you need to literally have 1 of every color orb plus a recovery orb on your crew when you launch the special. And if you do, he's going to boost Strength, Dex, and Psi characters' attack by 2.25 times for 1 turn instead. So that's the difference here, is that, normally it's just a 1.75 times attack boost and that's it, plus the 20% health cut. But when you do have 1 of every orb plus a recovery orb, he is a 2.25 times attack boosting character instead. And it states that it will make their type slots have matching slot effects for 1 turn. So all those colored orbs will be counted as matching, and obviously when you have Jimbe as your captain, he already makes recovery beneficial to your crew. So when you activate the special and you have 1 of every orb, you basically get a full board of orbs, and you basically will be able to do a lot of damage, and that's the way that he's built. Now, you might be thinking getting 1 of each colored orb is going to be quite tricky, and I completely agree. That is going to be hard to do. Obviously, the characters in this batch allow you to do that with activating your Praline and your Aladdin. That allows you to get that full board of orbs, plus an additional effect wherever you activated it. So you can get like a 1.75 times orb boost from your Aladdin, and he also locks your orbs as well. So you can go ahead and get your full board of orbs, lock them with Aladdin, get a 3-turn 1.75 orb boost, and then you can carry that into, you know, multiple rooms and have 2 Jimbes active. So that's the way that the character's kind of built. However, there is one other character that I want to discuss that is going to get a massive boost with the release of the V2 Jimbe batch. And that character is going to be Raid Heracles. Now, this character has really not seen play for the longest of time. It has been so long since I've used this character, and finally he gets a brand new usage in the game. So he is a side character, so he fits on the Jimbe team, and his special ability changes all the slots in the left to int, sign, recovery, and then he changes the ones on the right to strength, dex, and quick. So with his special ability, you get the full board of orbs. So even if you are missing some of the rare recruits, but you pull Jimbe, this is going to be a character that you might want to invest in, as he allows you to get that 2.25 times attack boost when you have your Jimbe. So he is a character that's really old school, then he's going to get a little bit of a comeback, which I'm really happy about. I like it when they bring those old characters back, whether they give them an upgrade with a 5 or 6 plus, or they just make them relevant again with a legend that kind of utilizes their effect. I'm a big fan of that. So that's kind of the full breakdown of the brand new characters arriving in the V2 Jimbe Sugo Fest. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.